I think the question that women need to ask themselves is ask the question, what story am I telling myself right now? And is it rooted in truth or past conditioning?
Welcome to Now What? Hi, I'm Melissa, your host, and you're listening to Now What, the podcast that dives into the heart of midlife and all its twists and turns. Whether you're feeling lost, bored, or just wondering what your next move should be, believe me, you're not alone. So join me and let's navigate this midlife maze together. Let's go. Hoops and glossers. Today we are diving deep with the incredible Karen Bartholomew, creator and founder of the Pause Method, which is a coaching philosophy that empowers women and leaders to embrace intentional reflection, gain clarity, and take decisive actions. Sounds very good to me. Through the Pause Method, Karen helps clients slow down, realign, and step into their full potential with confidence. And we all need more of that. Hoops and glossers, get ready for some major aha moments. Please welcome to Now What, Karen Bartholomew.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to share this message.
Oh my God, I am so excited. Thank you for reaching out to me. Like I said, when I started doing a deep dive, I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally have just been speaking with my therapist about how to pause, how
Yeah.
to slow down, how to process before possibly reacting.
Yeah.
Oh, you may save me thousands of dollars after this phone
Well, let's
call.
hope so, because, I believe in therapy. I've done therapy, but therapy is more about, focusing on issues. And I'm all about literally, solutions and like releasing that stuff for good, right? So we can move forward into our future.
I love it. And I definitely want the goal is to also to give my listeners like what are action I will get into that, but what are
Yeah.
action items they
Hmm.
can
Yep.
start doing now?
Hmm.
So, all right, well, let's just get into it. Okay, so you described feeling stuck and disillusioned 14 years ago. What were you doing at that time? And what was your now what moment that made you say something has got to change?
Oh, well, okay. So I found myself a single mom of three small children, newborn,
Oh,
4-year-old and
oh,
a 9-year-old. And so, I was in corporate America and I was doing, different things. I was a bartender at one time,
yeah.
always doing everything that everybody else wanted, but never really pursuing myself. And so I think
Hmm.
I just got really sick of me in 2010. I was just like, I'm just sick of doing this. I'm sick of picking the same dang people to have a relationship with. I'm sick of just listening to everybody's voice and not listening to my own. I'm sick of putting my dreams aside. I'm like, there's got to be a better way, especially as a single mom, right? So, like I said, I got sick of me, and someone introduced me to a class, a 3-day class of where I could go and like figure out me, like, get some awareness of like how I'm playing life. And it was the
Mm,
best thing I ever did. And I'm so thankful that I trusted that human being, and said yes, like immediately. And he's no longer on
mm,
this earth, but he's such a,
mm.
peaceful person for me, even with him gone.
Yeah.
And then I took that on once I found out how I was living life. I took that on physically and mentally, right? So I could really embrace it all. And then I went in to do effective and ineffective leadership. And then I went in to play this crazy 90-day goal game with 17 other people. That was just like, I got to realize what I was capable of and what nothing's holding me back except my mind, not my brain, because the brain's just the container, right? But the mind and the words that we put together that tell us stories of things from the past that no longer serve us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I like how you distinct brain versus mind. My
Hmm.
mom always says the mind can be a dangerous place to live.
Danger, danger, danger. But it also can be dangerously so powerful for us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so powerful. So if you think about the neuroscience behind why ambitious women push themselves past their limits, it's wired in our survival system. The brain's designed to keep us safe, not fulfilled. And for high achieving women, that often means running, on a loop of proving ourselves all the time, performing, perfecting, right? Being everything for everyone else, especially if somewhere along the way we picked up the belief that love, worth, and safety is tied to achievement, right? Because I know for me,
Wait,
there were
love,
times,
I want to pause on that. Let's
yeah,
pause on that. Wait, love,
worth
worth,
and safety
and safety means achievement.
is tied to achievement. The more we do, the safer we
Wow.
feel, which is such a lie.
Well, so do you feel like the hustle? This was one of my questions. When did the hustle culture really begin? Has it always been there, or has like social media magnified it? I know women specifically, it is. It's your worth is tied to your to-do list, right? Like,
Right.
oh my gosh, it's either I have so much to do. I didn't have time to do it because I have so much to do, or oh my God, look at all the stuff I got done, but I still have so much to do.
Right.
Is it getting worse in your opinion, or where did that start?
Um, I think, well, I think that we took on more, okay, than
Mm-hmm.
we're supposed to take on, right? So if we think about
Mm-hmm.
this, I think we're taking on masculine, roles that we shouldn't be taking on, right? Somewhere along the line, we were told that we got to do more and more and more and more and more, and then we take on more and more and more, and we feel like we have to carry the whole world. We have a job, and then we have kids, and we're doing everything from 6 to 9
Yeah.
o'clock at night, and there's no time for anything else, not even for us to breathe, right? So, and then what happens to our co-partners? Like they're not taking on anymore. You know what I mean? We're picking up the ball for everything. We're juggling kids on every hip, feeding the infant, and we might have someone who's with us, but not really with us, on their phone or like, taking a call or so. I just think that we need to just come together more as partners to do
Porsche.
things together and stop taking on roles that we don't need to be responsible for. I always say it's like the oxygen mask right on the plane. You put yours on first so you can take care of others, but what are we doing to put our oxygen mask on? The word self,
Totally.
because the word selfish is very like we're
Oh,
not supposed to be selfish, right? Right. Well, I'm
right.
saying yes, be selfish. Take a pause. Take time for you. Take care of this body, this mind, this soul, right?
I couldn't agree with you more. And that's exactly what I do when I work with women that I coach is get back on your own to-do list. You
Yeah.
are number one on that to-do list.
Yep.
And then all the other things can fall into place. Okay, so you created the pause method. Can you
Hmm.
break it down for us? What
Yes.
does like pausing actually look like in practice? Because, like I said, my therapist is like, you gotta pause. I'm like, what does that mean?
Okay, so because I got sick of me back then and I
Yeah,
realized that this is what I was doing, but I didn't put a formula to it, right? So a method to the madness. And so I was like, I got to write this down because I got to like be able to have a framework that women can, like follow, right? And so, and I'm going to be writing a book on this also, a little pocket book that you can carry around,
oh, I
right?
love
So,
it.
yeah, and so I just got challenged to do that. I've been thinking about it for a long time. And so it's going to be a little pocket book that, just a soft copy book, not a lot of pages that you can just carry around and grab when you're like, oh, it's happening to me, right?
I love
So
that. And I'm old school. I still like an actual book. Like
I do
I
too.
still highlight, I print out my notes, I highlight. I love technology, but I need something tangible like that. So
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So let's just break the pause method down,
Yeah,
okay? And I'm just going to give snippets. I'm not going to give a lot, but I'm going to ask a few questions to the
sure.
women so they can start thinking, right? To bring some awareness, right? So
Love
the
it.
P stands for perceive. It's pattern recognition. We really have to like ask the appropriate questions to find out like what's the message that you're holding on to that's keeping you from moving forward. And once
Right.
I can tap into that message, then we can go back and go, when's the first time that you remember that coming into play in your life? Typically, it will take somebody back to something in their childhood. It could be a coach in high school. It could be a mentor. It could be, any timeline. But really, we have these subconscious patterns that we do all the time, like autopilot. If you remember trying to drive a car in the very beginning, 16 years old, we're looking at the rear view mirror and the back mirror, and we're worrying about killing the person next to us, and we're worrying about the brake, and I learned on a clutch, so it was even like
I did too.
crazier. Yeah. And so, and we're doing all these things and trying to like, make sure we don't kill us or kill anybody else. um, and then now we can do all kinds of things. We end up in our driveway and we don't even know how we got there. And that's
Totally.
autopilot, right? That's like we learned how to eat. We don't like take a fork now and hit the side of our face. We just know what to do, right? We also have all these subconscious patterns that may be serving us, but may not be serving us in our adult life.
Right.
And so we want to go back and bring those forward, because once you bring something forward out of the subconscious, it's conscious, and then you can't really shove it back there anymore. Like when something happens, you're like, oh, I know what that is, right? So
Mhm.
the first thing is identify what the subconscious belief is, or the default reaction that's shaping your current experience. So I like to ask people is like, if you get triggered by something, the gap between the trigger and your reaction is where the work lies, where I want you to get curious and interrogate the depth of why am I reacting like this, right? Instead of just like, "Boom," you know, and everyone says, well,
So,
Karen,
like, don't judge it, but notice it.
notice it. There's no judgment. There's no opinion.
Right. But I feel like
Just
we, especially as women, everything's judgmental.
Well, that's because
We,
we live in a judgmental, opinionated world.
yes,
Just
exactly.
as human beings, that's
Yeah.
how we are,
Yeah.
right? When we're told no as a small child, or don't climb up there, don't do that, we're being everything, right? Then we
Right.
take that in the world and we do something, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, I'm going to get judged, so I'm not going to do it. You know, it holds us back. So,
Notice it.
notice it, and then it just takes practice not to like poof it out of your mouth right away, right?
Oh, Karen, it is easier said than done.
I
Believe
know, but
me.
let me tell you, if you have an accountability partner and you have somebody that says, hey, when you ask me a question and I react so fast, like after I used to swear when I was a small kid, like 19, 20, not small, right out of high school, I swore a lot. And someone said, I'm going to make you put a quarter in a jar every time you swear. Like it got painful. And after a while, I started going like this, right? I would say it and I would catch myself. And now I barely swear at all unless you get me really, really mad,
Yeah.
but it's rare, right?
Right.
So that takes practice. Okay. Just
Yep.
practice. But I think the question that women need to ask themselves is ask the question, what story am I telling myself right now? And is it rooted in truth or past conditioning? So, okay. So
Love
if we all
that.
go back, it's like one of my mentors says, what happened, happened. It couldn't have happened any other way because what? It happened.
Hmm.
But some things need to be left there. I had a lot of trauma in my life, and I don't, condone anybody who's had bad things happen to them back then. But like if we look back here, it happened here. And so if somebody had something that happened to them in their life and they didn't feel safe, and now they're bringing that into their world today as an adult 4 decades later and walking around, I'm not safe. Like, is that really truth? Because I'm safe in my home, I'm safe in my marriage, I'm safe with my kids, I'm safe in my community, I'm safe when I
Hmm.
drive, except for the idiots on the roads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not a truth today. So a lot of us are telling lies about whatever the lies, truths that you think are, real, and they're really
Mm.
not. Some of them serve you and some of them don't. So we really want to identify what those are. And so, first is the awareness, of the first step to really understand how you play life. Okay. So that's the P. And the
Okay.
A is really just acknowledging and accepting it without judgment and without opinion. So if you go back and do a timeline of your life, I always tell people like make it fun, put some fun music on, get some colored markers, just jot stuff down, make it a colorful project, no opinion, no judgment. If something stops you, just be aware, right? But like don't stay there. It's not therapy. It's just, we're just kind of going back in time.
Awareness. Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
so then we want to like fully accept what is, what was, without resistance or judgment. Okay.
Okay.
Acceptance isn't resignation. Things did happen to all of us when we were,
Right.
right? But it is the key in shifting your perspective, because your perception of you is deep rooted by the constraints, some of the constraints from the past. We all have them.
Totally.
We all,
Totally.
mine
Totally.
was I didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, I created this program, Sanctum, and the plasma and all this work that I'm doing, because
Right.
I'm like, it actually gives me worthiness that I am making an impact and I do matter in this world, right? And then also I can help other women, who don't feel seen, heard, held, matter,
Mm-hmm.
don't have worth, right? And so that's what the program that I do is about. So then that's the A, and then the U is really to unwind it all, because if you really think about the stories that are in our mind, they're made up of words, right? And they're just,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them are just BS. They're just stories. Because
Mm.
if you look at your fear today, is it true that we know what's going to happen an hour from now? Like, really?
Right, right,
No,
right. No.
no idea what's going to happen an hour from now. And so, where's that fear coming from? It comes from the library of our history that we brought forward, and then we put some story on it, and
Yep.
it kept us from moving forward, right? So that's how we perceive ourselves. And so it's like changing that narrative, really being able to understand it and untangle it all, right? And so we get to separate fact from fiction and then ask the
Mm.
question, what's the belief? Or what if this belief isn't true?
Oh, I like that. What if this belief isn't
Isn't true.
true?
How would you show up in the world if it was truly truth that you're safe? If it truly was truth that you're loved, that you are love, that you are
Mm-hmm.
worthy, how would you show up every day?
Wow.
That's a different way of thinking.
It is.
And
It
it
is.
actually shifts your nervous system.
Oh my gosh, totally. Because I,
I saw you
no, I
go,
know. Literally in my mind, I thought, what? Because I feel like, or at least for me, what if it is true? What if it is true? What if they really do think what I think they think? But when you say you shifted just that one word is versus N apostrophe T, what if it isn't true? Yes.
how would you show up?
There's an aha moment. How
Yeah,
would
it's
you show
huge.
up?
Yeah, I mean, because seriously, like if you think about it, and I know the viewers can't see my hands, but if I did a circle of my true essence of who I am, right?
Yes.
And then we have all these hurts that we pile on top of them. Hurts, 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 beliefs, other people's voices, all these things. We
Mm-hmm.
really dim ourselves, right? We get very
Totally.
small. But if
Yes.
we can like release this stuff and go, that's not true, and that's not true, and that's not true, and I'm going to listen to my voice, and I'm going to find my true essence, and all of a sudden this light comes out, right? So if you think of it like that, like even like a flower that's just all like,
Yes.
in a round, right? It's hiding, you know?
Yes.
But or like a cocoon, a butterfly, right? So you have a cocoon, right? If we try to help people get out of that cocoon before they're ready, they'll never have the strength to be who they're supposed to be. So this is not about fixing people. This is about asking people questions so they can go on their own journey of self-discovery and really release the constraints that are holding them back.
Well, and I love it too because I think I see with myself and the only way the only way is through, right?
Yep.
You can't go around.
No, you can't go.
Whether you can, I've tried, whether it's your nutrition, I'm a nutrition fitness coach also. Your nutrition, your fitness, your goal, what you got to go, your feelings. So I love the point of like you have to just acknowledge you have these thoughts because you keep ignoring it's going to manifest, it's going to present itself in other ways that are not going to
Always.
benefit you.
Always. Let me
Always.
tell you a couple of them, okay? Because
Yes.
I
Yeah.
know them well
Yes. Yes.
from my past. First of all, the feelings that you have, right? We don't want to just shove them down. So what happens, most women, and I can attest to this because this was my life. I would have a feeling, I'm like, I don't have time for that. I gotta
Totally.
have a meeting, or I gotta feed the kids, or
Yes.
I gotta get them to baseball, or I gotta do this. I don't have time. So we just like it's like the whack-a-mole, right? At the fairgrounds. You just whack them down and you move on. Well, those will fester into something else. The other thing is that one of my mentors says, that you will present people and circumstances will present themselves to where you're not healed.
Wait, say that one more time.
People and circumstances will present themselves to you where
Uh-huh.
you're not healed.
Whoa.
So So like a trigger, something's
Yeah.
triggered, right? And I'm like, oof, let me get curious. What's that about, right? Or for me, I was attracting the same type of man in my life.
Yes.
Okay. And I kept saying, why do I keep doing that? Why do I keep doing that? Right. Well, because that version of me, I wasn't healed. right? But as soon as I'm like, whoa, I need to really entangle this and figure this out so I don't keep doing it, right? And so then I untangle that. And now after 26 years, it doesn't need to take people that long. That was a choice of mine because I wanted to raise my kids and they're wonderful adults and I have grandkids now. But
Oh,
now I'm starting my dating life,
yeah. Yes.
in my early 60s, right? So, but it's the right timing and I'm ready.
Well, and that's exactly it's the main reason I named my podcast Now What, focusing on midlifers and like now what do we do? Because I personally, when you become empty nesters, or my friend uses the term free birds, which I like free birds
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
It's more
yeah,
positive.
yeah.
I know for me personally and a lot of my audience, I quit my job at Microsoft, stayed home, raised the kids, and my job and my life were my kids.
Uh-huh.
Well, once they leave and I only have one at home now, and my role, I'm less needed. It's truly a time of, oh my gosh, what is my purpose? Now what? What I
Yeah.
used to have a brain. I I
I'm
I
laughing.
you
So
know what
good.
I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
I
what
get
do
you.
it's scary and
Yeah.
it's just but it's so common. That's another goal of my podcast. I just want to share stories because you're not alone. We've all had these
No,
feelings and
no.
you know,
And
no,
I
and
would say
yes,
the pause, that is an amazing place to take a pause instead of being scared and stuck and like, I'm just going to hunker down and eat ice cream and
yes,
bonbons, right? It's like, no, what an opportunity
yes,
to redesign whatever you want,
yes. But
right?
people get stuck. That, and I want to get your advice on that. That's where, because I went through it too. I think the answer is you just, well, I took, I love Mel Robbins and I did one of her launch programs and it was just have a crazy one was launching this podcast and every day I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know where it was going, but every day you work on it for 15 minutes
Yep.
and it's creating that pattern. It's all about consistency. It's
Yep.
like that with nutrition. It's like that with fitness. It's like that with every goal you have and to take action. But how do you help women get unstuck though? Because just taking that first movement sometimes is well, it is the hardest part, I think, is
Well,
get
it is. And I would say that it's really getting a sense of community and
yes,
people to give you the
totally.
space that you can trust them.
Yes.
Okay. And asking the right questions. So my Sanctum program, actually, there's 3 pillars of it. And the first pillar is talking about the real shit. It's like whatever you want to talk about, like what's really going on in a
Yes.
safe container. We are here because we want to know what's really happening.
Yes.
Right. And then let's unravel that. Right. Let's unravel that for you. And then let's actually heal and grow from it, which is unraveling it as a second pillar. And the next one is, expanding and growing from it and healing from that. So you can actually really design the next chapter of your life. Whether you're in an organization in a leadership role, right? Sometimes it's a culture thing that you just decided that you don't have a voice. Yes, we do have a voice. Yes, you can change the culture, right? And a lot of organizations need culture change, honestly, right? And so to really have a voice and know that your voice is needed and heard,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I just think it's taking that step. It's finding someone or a community to take that first step,
Yes.
right? So, and then to really like watch what you're saying. I always say everybody has a personal genie, right? And you got to be really nice to your personal genie because what you say, what you think,
Yes.
what you say, and what you feel will come true. If you say that it's too
Yes.
good to be true, then yes, it is, and it will not happen.
Are you big into manifesting?
Manifesting in the essence that I'm living the life that I imagine every day, a little bit at a time.
I
I'm
love
not
that.
into like putting it on the wall and saying these things,
Yeah.
because I think that we have to like rewrite, right? Reframe some old beliefs into some empowering truth. And then, really like rewrite the narrative and pivot into the new possibility. So the issue is that people get in this fear-based place.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
say, in uncertainty, which that's what it is, uncertain, gets you stuck. There's so many possibilities, but we have to start moving a little bit forward and like really design. So when I ask people, sometimes it's like, well, what do you want the next chapter to look like? And like you say, women that are stuck and they're like, I don't have any idea. All right, well, let's start tearing it apart. And then all of a sudden people remember like, wow, I loved dancing when I was a kid and I gave that up. Like, okay, we need to get you in a dance lesson.
It's so true. And it's so interesting because it sounds so simple, right?
Well,
But
it is.
why
No,
don't we
it
do it?
on our
Yeah.
own, Melissa, it just doesn't. It does,
No, I
it's
know.
hard because we're trained to just keep going. We're
Yeah.
trained at some time in our life that we're born as precious in human beings, very precious. And somewhere along the line, someone and us decided that we weren't anymore.
Hmm.
All the rules, all the yeses and the nos. Like I remember needing my mom for a few things or needing my dad for a few things, and they just weren't there, and I really needed them.
Right.
And then the message that I was told myself was I wasn't important.
Yeah.
They don't care,
And that's the
right?
story you hang on to. And
And
then
you
it,
hang
it
on to
seeps
it.
into every part of your life.
Yep. And there are things to this day that I have heard that I had a story, and the stories don't bother me anymore because I've done the work and I've changed the stories. But some of the stories are still there. But I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that story, right? And
Hmm.
I've had some healing from it. However, I just found out from someone else that the story I had, part of the story that I had was so not true. They're like, oh, hell, that didn't happen. I'm like, what? No, that did not happen. I was there. I heard that. I heard something different. Let me tell you what I heard. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I've been holding on to that since I was like 12 years old.
I bet that's more common. I bet that's more common than we think.
So common.
Oh, you think, right, right. Do you find, is there a current theme? Because you work with individuals, correct? And then you also
Yes.
work with business leaders.
Yes.
Is there a lot of similarities? Because at the end of the day, we're all humans, whether
We're all humans. We are
so
all
are the
humans.
themes that come out of what people need help with and how you use the pause method similar, or is there a distinction between, I know there's a general question, but
No, I think the pause is different from everyone. I mean, there's some people that just need a pause. My first pause that I did in the very beginning was actually a pause to the mailbox when I didn't know, like seriously. Um, I just was out of my mind. You know, those times when you're just like, as a woman, you're just out of my mind and I just got to go in a dark corner. I just need to get away. I'm just like, I'm ready
yes,
to just like, blah, right?
yes,
And I would just walk to the mailbox. I'm like, I'm just going to walk to the mailbox and I'm going to get the mail. And if there's no mail there, I'm fine. I'm just going to wait for a moment. I'm going to enjoy the outside and get some fresh air and get the sun or whatever it is. I don't care if it's raining. I'll bring an umbrella and I'm just going to take my walk. And I took a 5 to 10 minute walk because my mailbox at the time was way down the hill.
yeah.
Right. But like, that's all I needed. I mean, some women get up in the middle of the
Mhm.
night because they just need the darkness and they just want to like meditate for like 15 minutes and they go back to bed. I mean, it's whatever it is for you. It's what's works for you. Right. And so that's why I'm a big proponent of people like applying for working with me so I can really understand what it is that has them really stuck. Right. And then
Yes.
if it's more than what I do, then I will refer them out to someone else. Um, but yeah, it's just asking the right questions. And I really feel like if I was to go back in my younger self, I wish I had a mentor that cared enough to ask me how I was doing.
Oh,
Because my whole life, no one's ever asked me.
how are you? How are you doing?
Yeah. Um,
Wow.
yeah. But it also is because I picked people
Right.
also, right? That were they were takers. They just took a lot from me. And I kept saying yes to everything. And I was exhausted. And I'm like, I'm gonna start saying no.
I think I was still am a little bit people pleaser. Yes, girl, don't want to be a burden, want to make it easy for everyone. I have gotten, I still need a little work on it, so much better at saying no, and it is so freeing.
Right?
Oh my gosh. They need to teach these courses in college, actually in
Well,
high
oh,
school.
absolutely. In high
Don't you?
school, probably. Yeah, in high
No,
school.
high school. It's such a crazy, fragile time. But no, the
It really
power
is.
of no is amazing. Okay, so did we get to the S and the E? Is there a
The F was the shifting the narrative.
Oh, okay, shifting the narrative. I want
Okay,
to make
I
sure we
just
don't
talked about that.
miss
And then the
anything.
E was just expanding, and a lot of practice. It's just exploring, it's just expansion, right? It's the expanding and healing. It's just practice, 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 right? Embody it, right? Live it, right? Once you know what it is. So it
So,
takes a while.
yeah. So how does working with you look like? Like we go through each of those stages. You give us action items, you give us homework.
Yeah, so there's no homework. So there's no homework. So basically, I do have a new community starting called Sanctum Circle, right?
Okay.
So women can go to my Instagram and DM me, Sanctum, and I'll send them a link.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
I
so they
can
can
put
do
that in
that.
the notes too.
You can. And basically, so what happens is I just ask specific questions. Like I really just want to know the individual woman, right? And see
Yeah,
like what's really happening with them. Where are they really stuck? Because everybody's, different. So
for sure.
there's no like real thing. I don't do the same thing, it's all different. But it's really about just giving them the safe space, a real safe space to be
Mhm.
them, no matter how they show up. Like
I
I have
love
women
that.
that call me in the middle of the week and they're out of their minds. I'm like, okay, all right, what's going on? They're like, ah, and I'm like, okay, all right. So anything else? Like, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm like, okay, all right. So let's just break this down. You know how this works, right?
Mhm.
Let's just unravel this. And so we unravel it, and then we find out that it's something they're holding on to because they're busting out of this belief that they have to be responsible and carry everything, right? And they're so out of their
Right.
mind. And then I'm like, no, like you learned that as a small child to be responsible because you were the firstborn out of like 8 kids. And don't be silly because there's no time to be silly. That's for the younger kids. And so now
Totally.
you don't even know how to be silly with your own kids.
Right.
So then I give them challenges. I want you to jump on your nicely neat cornered bed, all made with your kids. And
Uh,
it takes I had a woman that actually it took her like months. And then we did a silly jar, right? So it's simple stuff, where everybody puts something in the jar that they want to do as a family. Then they started doing more lake trips and they started doing more fun things. And they did like an escape room. Then they did, just fun stuff, bowling, like things that she just would never take time for because she would just go, 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 go. I'm like, so that is a pause too. Like just take a pause and make a fun little adventure jar or a journey jar and let everybody in the family put something in and someone pulls one out every weekend and that's what you do. And you
you
don't you don't get to like say no. That's the rule.
yes, yes. It is so simple, but I can see why you need to work with someone like you to help pull that out of you
Yeah.
because yeah, just jump on the bed. It is a simple task, but I would never think
You're
of that.
stuck.
Like ever. It would just never even go there. So I think it's amazing. How long did it take you to create this? I
Well,
think
I've been
it's
doing this
so
since
needed.
2010 and I learned challenges in 2010 when I was challenged with some crazy stuff. My first challenge, I was so out of my mind. I was like, got off work. I dressed heels, the whole business suit thing
Yep.
in 2010. I want you to make a sign that's colorful that says free hugs, take it to the front of Walmart in your local town and hold it up for an hour.
Wait, was this part of the program you were doing? You had to go through these. Oh, I see. You had to go through these challenges.
Yeah, yeah. I had to go
Okay,
through the
so
challenge
you're in your suit, your heels,
in
in
my
front of.
car with this sign, not wanting to get out of my car. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? But I knew I had to do it because it had to be done by the next morning. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this on because I committed to taking myself on because I got sick of myself. So I'm going to do this. So I got out, and as soon as I got out of my car and I'm walking over to the Walmart in front of the Walmart, there's a missions guy, a homeless guy doing missions work. And I'm like, oh, great. Okay. All right. And so I sparked a conversation up with him and then I eventually held it up. And so I got to see how available I was to the world. And that's why he had me do it. So I could be, and I had no idea why I was doing this.
Of course, of course.
And so I got to see some people walked right by and kind of snickered. Some people came up to me and wanted a hug and then wanted another one when they left. One woman stopped and started crying because her sister had just passed away and wanted a hug. I sat and talked to her. And so I wanted to do another hour when my hour was up.
You did. I was going to ask you, how did that change you?
It totally changed me. It made me aware of how I actually show up in the world and show up for my kids and show up for my family and show up for my employees and show up for everybody, you know? And so I give people challenges that they need to opt in or opt out. And I'm like, all right, why are we opting out? What's going on? Because then we
Right.
get to see why they're stuck. Why is this a problem? Right. And then they end up doing them because they realize, and I'm like, listen, you have no idea what's on the other side, but I'm never going to give you a challenge that I haven't done myself. And I've never given this challenge again to anybody, by the way, since I've done it. But because a lot of people are like, hell no. And I don't know how safe it would be anymore to do that anyway.
Uh,
But like I know somebody who was in the program with me that did it in Venice Beach and they did it all day. All day. They had such a great time. Met so many amazing
and
people.
people are probably half naked at Venice Beach
I,
too. So like naked people are hugging them.
I know, I know. So I'm just saying, so challenges are really good. It's not homework. People don't do homework. They wait till the last minute and they fudge their homework and they don't do it truthfully. And so I'm like, no, it's a challenge. And the challenge is here to get you to the next week. It's a baby step to because you want to talk about manifestation. It's part of
Yeah.
it. Take an action on something that you might be really scared of. And the only reason why you're scared is because you're bringing some fear in. Either going to be embarrassed or something's happened in the past
Right.
or you've
Who's
been
going to see
bullied.
me? I
Nobody
mean, it's all the
cares.
things.
Yeah, all the things that we tell ourselves.
The first thing I thought of when you said
The stories made up of
it
words.
is. So it's almost I don't know if deprogramming is the right word.
No, it's actually releasing the constraint that's holding you from that past programming. It is the programming.
Releasing the
And we're just so stuck in it. So stuck.
yes.
Sometimes I ask people, if what would that look like if you know that you're truly safe, and that's really a lie that you've been telling yourself because there's evidence back in your past but not today. How would you show up? What would that look like? And they literally can't even imagine because it's so deep seated in their subconscious that they're not.
And it's so probably nowhere close to what they're actually doing.
Yeah,
They're like, their career isn't reflecting that.
they're isolated, they don't have a
Right.
voice, they're not being
Right.
seen, they're like there's all kinds of stuff that happen, right? So
Right.
and some places aren't safe. So, you get to be aware of like what's really not safe and what
Yes.
is. But I mean, my own daughter had that. That
Yeah.
was hers too,
Yeah.
not from her dad. So, we had to work through that. And
Sure.
she's 25 now and she has an amazing life and she's worked
Yeah.
through it and it's beautiful.
And everyone has something. Everyone
Everyone has
has,
something, girl. We all have stuff.
oh, we all have something. Okay, Karen, just two more things because I could talk to you forever. I think this is so fascinating. It's amazing. I love it. It's needed. It's
Yeah.
needed. Okay. So what are one to two things that my listeners could do today with the
Okay.
pause method?
Well,
Just
first they can go on
simple.
my website and get that pause again, okay, and just see it for yourself.
Okay.
There's also a free
And
journal
what's
on,
the website name?
it's just KarenBartholomew.com.
Okay.
They
KarenBartholomew.com.
can go on. There's some freebies in there. There's a 30-day journal in there that will ask them some questions. There's 7 questions to ask themselves. There's also underneath some retreats. So my website's getting redone in the next 3 weeks. But they can find all this stuff in there.
Okay.
Just had a retreat. They can go on there under events and go to Empower Your Pause, which is a retreat that I just did. I mean, you'll see exactly
Great.
what I just walked you through. And so, but I would say is like, seriously, take a moment to really take space for yourself to tap into your creative brain and like, just be honest. Like, what's not
Yes.
working? What is something that you need to release that's not working for you? Right.
Yes. Why are we scared to be honest with ourselves?
Well, I think because there's sides of us that we don't like about us. And if really to
Hmm.
be honest with that, it's like, it just
It's
brings
hard.
up, it brings stuff up. And I'm like, well, we don't have to hold on to that. We have to
Hmm.
remember that it's just stories. And a lot of it is BS thinking and we've created these stories in words. So just change the narrative.
Yeah.
Like if you say I'm the luckiest person on the earth, then like, just walk around like that, right? You'll see life very
It's
differently.
it's so true. It's so
Yeah.
true.
It's the lens that we, see the world through. I always remember when I got contacts and I didn't know how bad my eyes were, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I got contacts and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of color in the world that I was not aware of. right?
Oh my God, that's so true.
Or when I was in so much pain for so many years because of different, nerve damage or joint pain. And then all of a sudden one day I didn't have any pain. I was going across a bridge and I'm like, whoa, life looks different when you're not in pain.
Yes.
Right. So I think it's really just how we perceive ourselves. We just have to we got to look at that. Right. And like, what lies are you telling yourself that just really aren't serving you anymore?
Yes.
And sometimes it just takes another person, whether, someone reaches out to me or somebody reaches out to a friend, to find a safe space with at least one other person that you can really talk about just really what's going on with us. Because
Yes.
our partners aren't always the ones that are going to be doing that for us.
Right.
And, you know, and they're not always supposed to be the ones.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Okay. Last but not least,
Yes.
now what?
Now what?
Now what? What is on the horizon for Karen Bartholomew?
Okay, well, my mission and movement is to get 1,000 women across the United States in this community.
I love it.
That's my mission. So people can actually really like have a community of people that they feel safe and they can, be held, heard, and know that they matter. I'm launching the new program Sanctum
Okay.
for women that really we can really, talk about the real shit, unravel it,
Yes.
a really great leadership of self, and take care of ourselves first with some self-care, being selfish.
Yep.
That really works. So that's happening. I'm still doing one-on-one coaching. And so yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm doing.
I love it.
And I love being guest on podcasts to get the message out.
I love it. I love it. Well, it's a fantastic message. I cannot thank you enough for coming on. Follow Karen on Instagram at Karen Bartholomew. Correct? Is it that? No, what
Yes,
is?
it's Karen Bartholomew. And I wanted to ask you one more thing because you had
Yes.
asked me a question.
Yes.
The question was about the hustle culture
Oh,
or the
yes.
hustle.
Yes.
So I just wanted to like tap into that before we get off.
Yes.
Breaking free from the hustle, wasn't about walking away from someone's ambition. It's about reclaiming ownership, right? Of how I lead and how I live. You know, for me, hustle had
Yes.
me performing, had checking the boxes, chasing the numbers, always, on, right? Like we talked about. But inside, I was exhausted, I was depleted, I was disconnected from so many things. So that's when I had to take a deep internal work, really, to untangle
Mhm.
my value and my productivity for me. So the
And
pause,
owning your own time.
yes, and the pauses wasn't a detour; it was actually really a breakthrough for me. You know, so now to really help women to reconnect with their purpose, you talk about purpose, right? Their drive that's really in alignment with who they truly are. And a lot of women just don't know their true essence because they're so burned out and they're so buried by
Mhm.
everybody else's voices. So that's why I'm always asking, whose voice are you listening to? Right? Because
Yes.
claiming time doesn't mean you're giving up your success. I want women to really hear that because we all have a lot of successful careers. It's just it means you finally defined things on your own terms. That's what it
Yes.
means. And people will respect that. Corporations will respect that. Women can be pregnant women in the workforce and not have to worry about, oh, I have morning sickness and I don't want anybody to see me throw up because they might tell me to go home
Oh,
and have someone who took my job, or I won't be performing anymore and I won't get the raise. I'm like, oh my God, you're having a child. Like moms that are home have the most important jobs in this entire world, raising human beings to go out in the community and become all they can be. So
that
these
was me.
women,
I
yeah,
would
these
go to
women
work
that say,
and
I'm just a mom, right?
yeah, and but when I was pregnant, I quit while I was on maternity leave, but I would hide in the conference room. I was so nauseous and so exhausted
Yeah.
that I would hide because I was too nervous for anyone to see me that oh my God, maybe she can't do her job.
Yeah. See, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, oh,
You're a whole
100%.
person. Yeah.
100%.
And that's not true. That's a story. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
That comes from you having the same story of you're a burden,
Yep.
because you said that earlier. And so I would challenge you, actually, Melissa, to go back and go, where did I hear that? Where did that come
Yes.
from? Like, when did I pull that story put that in my brain? And have I just been carrying that around all these decades and I need to leave that back there where it belongs? Because you can go back there and there's evidence back there of why you feel that way and you bring it forward, but that was when you were 14, 16, 18, whatever. And like, I don't know how old you are today, but like,
53.
how did that feel as a small child to like not be a burden?
Right. Pressure. Oh, I can answer. I mean, right away, it's like I physically, just right now, just when you asked me that question, it's like, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a ton of pressure.
And then you
But
throw
if
an only child and blah, blah. I mean, believe me,
there's a
Karen.
story there. But if you could really release that story and live
Right.
in your authentic self today, who you are, this brilliant, amazing, beautiful human being, and stop suffering, because that's what, that's the society is. I mean, we are human beings and we're here to suffer. So our brains tell us that.
Yes.
And if we just
Yes.
let that go and go, no, I'm not going to live there anymore. How will I show up
Yes.
if I'm not a burden ever again?
I love it. I love it because they're action items. I like taking action.
Call me, we'll talk.
Karen, I'm calling you. Karen Bartholomew, thank you so much. I'll put it in the notes. Go to her website, go to her Instagram, and amazing message. And Hoops and Glossers, let's share this because we all deserve to live the best lives possible. And sky is the limit. Sky is the limit. So thank you, Karen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Have a good one. All right, Hoops and Gloss, that's it for this episode. Please share with a friend, and I'll see you next week.